I'd like to thank Eric. He's been a huge help throughout this whole process. I also would like to thank the St. Joseph County Public Library for all the help that they've given me as I publish my book. So I wanted to talk about who I was prior to December 5th, 2012. So as most of the audience knows, I was very athletic. I was on the soccer and track team at Adams. I used to run races. And then the main thing is I was a nationally ranked fencer. So I used to compete in nationals and NACS, which is North American Cup. I know many current and past Olympians. I fenced the person who went to the last Olympics one time, and I beat him. So, that was cool. So, on December 5th, 2012, out of nowhere, I was lying on the bathroom floor with my mom seizing. So, what happened was, it's called a subarachnoid hemorrhage. So, the first and the second vertebrae at birth, they usually fuse. Very, very, very rarely they don't fuse. And what I've been told and what I've come to understand is they don't care. Because if you have a fusion, you should have this for motion. So it's like quality of life goes way down if you get a fuse. So very, very rarely, one of those people will have a traumatic accident of some sort. That could be a ski accident or a car accident, and it severs one of the 4 arteries that go out to the brain. And then there's a bleed, strokes, usually people die. So what I had happen was called a non-traumatic brain injury, which was a new term to my mom. I was in a coma. It was a new term to me once I was out of the coma. So basically, the surgeon guessed that I either turned my head the wrong way or I sneezed. And so what he, once again, guess happened is there was a clot, there was a small bleed at the beginning, probably associated with a headache or something, and then the morning of it exploded, December 5th. So I'm lying on the floor, seizing, and then I had a 3-month coma. So coma is a massive definition, and like an actual, like a catatonic coma, probably a month and a half. But to me, when I define myself as out of the coma, is when I accepted that this was reality and not a dream. All right, the result of all this was 8 years of in and out of inpatient and outpatient therapy all across the country, a lot of anger, but the result is this book. So what you have is a 16-chapter book about all of these areas of my life where surgeons, doctors, nurses, therapists, my parents, coaches, teachers, peers, everyone outlined the impossibilities to me. And me, being a contrarian and angry young man in some situations, I was like, what? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm just gonna work on this. And there's chapters in this book where I have not achieved the impossible, such as ice skating. I have ataxia in my legs, so when I skate, it's like this. It's bad. Lots of falling. But I'd say it ranges from walking to board games. So with walking, the quote that I add in the chapter is, his mother needs to understand that he will never leave this hospital alive, which was not given to me, it was not given to my mom, it was given to my pediatrician, and my mom heard it. To board games where I just spazzed out all over the board, destroyed the board a lot. I include in each chapter the lessons that I've learned from all these ridiculous events. Now, about my process of writing this book. So, starting off, I was flush with time because after my year in school, I decided to come back and do therapies, regain some of the abilities I had lost, regained, and then lost again. So I'm sitting home doing therapies, and I decided to spend my free time writing this book. And then I was at Andre House, which is a hospitality center, so it's a homeless shelter without the beds. And I was working there, and on my my off day, I would work on this book. I'm like, whatever. I have nothing else to do. It was also COVID, so we couldn't do anything and stuff. But I wrote this book, and it's here now. So one thing I wanted to add, so when I was in high school, I had no desire to become an author when I grew up. And even now, the book's been out a couple of days. I've read a lot of articles. I'm not sure you can make too much of a living just from publishing a book. I know there's a lot more you can do, but I never had the desire of being an author. I do not think that I'm going to become like J.K. Rowling for this. But I did it, and I would love to share with anyone anything about the writing process or my process of recovery. If anyone wants to ask a question about that, I'll open up the floor to questions now.